Good morning. It is a beautiful Sunday here in the Finger Lakes. Very cloudy and very snowy and icy this morning, but the sun has come out. The roads are still wet, but they are drying. And I thought I would just go ahead and turn my camera on as I'm working this morning. I'm kind of calling today Surprise Sunday because you don't know necessarily what you're going to get. I am almost finished with a new journal, and I got what I really liked about it. I used Gail Augustinelli's kind of formula for doing things, which was really where I wanted to be when I kind of started this, but I didn't have a lot of stuff built up in my stash. So I've been building my stash quite a bit. So for this particular journal project, I put the signatures together. I knew that one's kind of already finished or done. I put my journal together, my signature together. I knew kind of what I wanted to do with it. I picked a color scheme because I picked some digital downloads that I was doing for backgrounds. And I picked the colors that would go with that. Okay, you know what? I think I am going to go ahead and fold that right back over. It was folded over. It unfolded. I'm going to fold it back because it's really kind of cool when this doubles and you end up with a little bit different texture in there, which is cool. So we'll see if we can put a little more glue there. There we go. And whatever I mess up, that's kind of cool. These are just, anyway, let me go back to where I was. So anyway, in doing this journal, all I had to do was go to my stash and pull out already pre-folded book pages that were folded into pockets, and it's been really cool. I'll talk a lot more about that in the video that I do when I do the unveiling of that particular piece. But one of the things I discovered as I was putting the finishing touches on it today, as far as what goes in what pockets, was that I realized I needed some tall skinnies. I spent the other day making littles, but I don't have any tall skinnies. So that today is what I decided I was going to start working on. I've been actually working most of the morning, but I just finally remembered to turn on my camera. So we'll see what we get. And that kind of stuck. What the heck? We'll just throw that over here. It's got glue on it. And that's kind of what this is all about, right? It's just playing around and seeing what you come up with. So I suppose that's why I called this Surprise Sunday, because you really don't know what you're going to get. I mentioned that we finally got some snow. We're going into March in another couple of days, and until just a few days ago, the ground here was still very, very, I think I want to go the other way. It was still very, very brown. Not much in the way of snow. There we go. I like how those go over and make different colors. When I was a kid, I remember going to a museum that had different light gels, and you could play around with the controls and bring down the different gels and make different colors. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. To the point where when I went to college, I got a degree in theater arts, but one of my favorite tech places to be was the lighting booth. I loved designing lights and playing around with lights, seeing the different colors with all the different gels. They used to have gel books. Don't think they do anymore. Well, they might. I haven't done it in a while. But the gel books were really cool because they were all these different colors, little strips of gel in all of these different colors. And you'd sit there and you'd play with them back and forth and make different colors. I think that's one of the reasons I like the tissue paper so much, is because I can get the same effect in paper that you can get in light. I have not done lighting in years, although I'm recently getting back into acting some. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me pause my video and get the materials I need next, and I will be right back. Okay, what was seconds for you was a few minutes for me while I just got together and found a few things that I want to use on these. I've already stamped these two with a different kind of stamp, but these I think need something tall and skinny, and I have a couple of, I think these might be, I don't know what these, I'm not sure if these are Recollections or Tim Holtz, I can't remember. I still need to get a bigger block, but in the meantime, this works. You know, when you don't have what you want, you use what you got. That's kind of the way life should be, isn't it? Just use what you got. Okay, that's not taking there very well. Why is that not? There it goes. Just got to find the right part of the pad that's working well. I have decided I like the smaller ink pads this size. I didn't know if I would. I didn't know what I wanted when I first started because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. That's good. Let's just drop it all and get ink everywhere. But after using both of these, I like the smaller ones better. They seem to get more ink where I want it to be. So I like these stamps because they're tall and skinny. There we go. That's a nice impression. I think I'm going to use the same for the other one. I don't know if these will go in the same journal. At least one of these is going in this particular journal. I don't know that both of them are. And that's the other piece, is that I've started realizing that when you make, when it's time to make something, don't keep getting things out and making just one. Make a bunch. Do a bunch of, that's why these are all kind of a variety. This, there we go. That came out nice. I will go take that and wash it in a moment. It's from this package. And I will take that and wash it shortly. Okay, let me put that in there before I forget that it goes there. Okay, so there, I've stamped. Like I said, I started this one before and then realized I hadn't finished it. So, and then this was, so this was the cover from the teal and white journal that is no longer available. I sold that one last night, so I'm really pleased with that. And these were some leftovers from it, and I thought that'll make a nice little fold out. I don't know what I'll do with that yet, but I'll just kind of leave that one off to the side. So I have those from theirs. These are for the journal that are specific, and these are actually from the cover of the journal. I tried beet dyeing for the first time with mixed results. I didn't do too many pages. I didn't have that much in the way of beet juice. I love pickled beets, and so I had some pickled beet juice, and this is what I made. I just made these three and then the cover. And the cover came out. I will give you a sneak peek of the cover because I have it right here. And I hope you can see, bringing it into, hopefully into focus. There's a pattern on it. There were a little bit of brown up here. I'm not sure what to do about that yet. I might just stick something over the top of it. But that's the basic cover. It's not decorated yet, obviously. But I had to cut off a few pieces, and I thought, well, there we go. We'll just use those up right here. So let's see. I have my stamps in my trusty old cigar box. Let's see what we have as far as colors go here. I have a lot of these. I think it's King Edward. I have to put my glasses back on. This is only, I guess it says 1D. Those of you who are in the know will have to tell me what that means. Okay, that one's nicely canceled. I think I like them over the seams a little bit. So I think I'd rather have that over there. Okay. I want to stick with orange on these. Oh, that's kind of nice. I really do kind of like that. I like I said, I have a lot of these. And I don't know if these were the ones that were 27 cents or if it was something else, but there we go. We'll do all the same color. We'll make that nice and easy for that. It won't go well on here, so let's find something else for there. I have blue. There he is again. This one is 2.5. Wrong blue. Sorry. Sorry, King, you don't get to be there. No, these blues are all too of a dust. They're not bright. And I think I want something brighter. I have some purples. And they don't necessarily need a stamp. Oh, these are the browns. Sorry, those are the browns. They don't necessarily need a stamp. They just, it's one of the things, one of the areas I like to try and see what might fit. It has some red in it. I don't like that one. That's a little bit more delicate. That's got, okay, that's the one with the heart, and H-A-R-T. And I don't think I want to use that on there. This one is from the Philippines. No, I'm afraid you guys are not going to get stamps. At least not this kind of stamp. I don't like how it's looking. So there, stamps are done. Let's set those aside. Well, they're not done. They're not on yet. So let's go ahead and take a minute and put the stamps on. It's part of the fun of creating is that things go wherever they happen to end up, and there's a lot of, I guess, serendipity to this. I'm used to writing, and when I write my novels, you get in the characters' heads, and then you just play with the heads and see what comes of it. And it's kind of fun. By the way, if you are a crafter and you aren't sure where to get stamps, check your own mail. One of the things that I just recently grabbed off of a piece of mail, I'm in the process of doing this particular page, but there was posted, now this came from 2/23/2023. So it's, I kind of like the number on it, but you know, you just rip it off and use it. Junk journal. It's junk. It would have gone in the recycling. Instead, it went into my journal. See, we'll just cover that little piece up there. There. Excellent. Okay, do I want a stripe? These don't need a stripe because they've got that in here. Do I want to put a stripe down on these guys? Let me go grab my stripes, as it were. This is my medium-sized junk box, scrap box, and I have all sorts of pieces. These are the tops off of some of those, you know, some of the pads have holes in them, so you know, so they could be hung up for display, and then when you go to use them, you have to cut this part out unless you want a hole in your page. So I tend to cut them out, and for years I tossed them, and then I thought, you know, I really should keep them. That I could do something with those. Oh, there we go. I like that. Okay, I like that on that one. This one I did green in the back. This one I did brown in the back. That one would have to be offset, but I like that. Okay, so those are going to get a stripe. These teal. I don't have these little teal stripes. Oh, you could do a full stripe over here. See, you go through your box, you see what you find. You know what, let me see if I might still want a stripe down there. I don't know. Of course, there's nothing right here on top like there was with the other two. So, who knows? I got a piece of purple. Nope. Wrong purple. Finding the right shades. I could do, maybe. It has to be narrowed down, but that's a possibility. Just leafing through my box over here. I don't know if I can even see it in the. Okay, I have a couple more. Oh, there we go. We have a whole bunch of stripes. Let's see what we got. I think these are probably all too dark. But I have this one, which might work. Those are definitely a goner. So yeah, we're just playing with composition and design today. I'm going to go ahead and set this one down. It's got a little bit of a fuzzy edge to it. I don't know if I want the fuzzy edge or not. I did discover I have a, what do you call this? I have one of these. You know, you just cut paper with it. Anyway, yeah, words are not my friend today. Squirrel, literally, I'm looking out the window, a squirrel just ran by. But anyway, about a year or so, maybe 2 years ago, I changed the blade in it for the very first time. And I then have been doing so much scrapbooking here now, or not scrapbooking, but junk journaling here, that I had to change my blade yesterday. It was really, all it was doing was making fuzz on the edges. I had to clean out the groove, did all that. Now you'll see on the back of this, there is some paint. I don't know if I'm going to back it again or if I'll just leave that kind of the way it is. This was I left that like so I could cut off that fuzzy edge. There we go. This is heavy watercolor paper, watercolor stock. Excuse me. My husband had used it on the other side to paint. He is a plein air painter, and he does some studio work as well. And he was just kind of playing around in the studio a while back. And this is a long time ago, actually, because it's acrylic, and he's moved to oils since then. And anyway, he was playing around with a technique, and he had these pieces of paper with paint on one side of them. And I said, well, how about if I take it and I use it, because I want to play around making this cover, and I don't know exactly what material I want to use. So I took his I keep saying wallpaper, his watercolor paper, and went ahead and splattered it along with a couple of other kinds of paper, and I really liked how that came out. So I ended up using the back of one of his paintings. Again, it wasn't a very good, it wasn't really a full painting. It was just a study, basically. He was just trying out a new technique. So it wasn't particularly good. I love him very much, but that particular painting was not really very good. Do I want it centered? Yeah, I've centered that one. This is not exactly the same width at the top and the bottom, but I think that's okay. We'll cut off our little bit of tissue paper there. We'll cut off our end. There. Oh, you're not sticking. Let's try that again. So yeah, you never know where you're going to find the materials that you need. Okay, we'll cut off that top. And I did not do it straight. I don't know if it matters. Does it matter? Yes, it matters to me. So let's get that a little straighter. Get rid of that, because otherwise it'll get glued in. Now, because that is off, I mean not long enough, I'm going to go ahead and do it so that it is not at one end, but rather in the middle here. There we go. That purple will go away. I say that, I think, every video. Okay, so this one is obviously too long. I think what I'm going to do is rip that off and throw that one away. I didn't get my numbers off of it. I have to get my numbers off of it. I'll do that in a minute. I've been taking my numbers off of everything. Okay, now what I'm going to do is try not to have that roll everywhere. I'm off-centering this, but I'm putting it right on the edge. And I went ahead and put all that glue on it. And I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm just going to cut down here. This is a rather thin cardstock. The green is actually stronger, so it will end up making a stronger end. I probably should keep that, but I got glue all over the back of it, so I'm not going to. All right, close up my glue stick for a minute while I am figuring out part 2. Sorry for my arm stretching across there. Okay, so now I need a focal point on each of these, unless I choose to leave that as the focal point, which I think I'm going to for these. And then it needs just a piece of a saying of some sort. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. I haven't put numbers on any of these yet. I save these because I'm going to make I have made my own paper in the past. I'm going to make it again. So I will be using those. I'll do a video on that when I get to that point and see how it goes. I kind of like putting these little numbers down at the bottom. This says concerning things, which I think is really cool. Again, that'll be new paper sometime soon. This is out of a book. I got a little bit more on there than I really want, so let me see if I can cut it down without destroying the words. Let's see. There we go. This is actually very tough paper. This was a book that was published in the 1800s. With very tough paper on it. Okay, so let's take a minute and just do a little distressing on that. And I don't have enough on my... There we go. Okay. Concerning things. I like that. Look at that. That came out, it's going to come out nice. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this right down. So the book page that this is, I used the book page, or at least a bunch of it, in the journal itself. Oh shit. Sorry, oops, sorry. I'm going to have to edit that out. Now you know I know how to swear. Maybe I'll just put a warning that this video contains a single swear word. Concerning things. There. I don't know if I'm going to do my ends, my corners yet or not. I'm just going to leave that for the moment. That one's done. I really like how that one came out. Okay, I didn't put numbers on anything. Let's see what we got here as far as some numbers go. I have been taking them out of various and sundry places. Okay, since I didn't put a stamp on this one, I'm going to go ahead and put the big set of numbers on there. These are product numbers out of the catalog that I use, and that will cover up that joint down there a little bit. I didn't really like how that joint was doing its thing. Okay, so there's that one, and then I have another fairly large set of numbers. Let's see if I can get that. Where might I want that? Maybe there. Okay, I'm not going to pin that one down just yet. Okay, this one says 400 series. Let's see what we can do. it's awfully small, and I'm not good with awfully small. Of course, now I have it upside down, and I want to pin it right there. Ah, done. I don't dare touch it again because I'm afraid I'll knock it off. Okay. These are obviously from a map. There's a little 25, which is kind of varying. It's the same font as that one, so I'm pretty sure it's the same book. I kind of like putting the book pages or right down at the bottom to like a book page, as if the entire note card is a book. It's kind of looks like it's popping up, but it really isn't. Okay, do I want numbers on everybody else? Only have 2 more left to go over here, and that one I like it. I just don't know if don't know if I like the placement. Okay, I have a great big number 9 here. No, it says 6 inches. It says 6 inches, which is not what that is. That is not, no, it's too white. I don't like it. I have a little 192. Maybe we'll try that one, since it has slid out here. Sorry, this is taking a little bit more time because I'm slow at it. What can I say? There we go. The 192. And who are you? 26.76. And you're very, very small. I think we'll put you up here along the side. Gotta do something different. There. For now, we may come back to that. Okay, so I have, this one is, as far as I'm concerned, is complete. So I'm setting that one completely out of the frame, away. It's done. These still need focal points and words. So I'm going to pause my video for a moment while I go and look for some focal points. I can't see my... All right, I'm back. I have taken a moment to clean up some of the workspace and to make some decisions. I am at least a step closer to being where I want to be. I found a bunch of tickets and I realized I hadn't done a ticket layer. So I thought, well, let's see what we'll find and see if the tickets become a focal point or if they're just another layer of the card. This one is such a tall card. I think it might end up being a belly band, that I decided this is still going to need a focal point. That one still needs a little bit more work. But this one, just kind of, see, I really kind of like how those 3 come together. Come together. Yeah, I do like it, but I think I'm going to cover it up anyway. There we go. Okay, so those 2. For this one, I found just a little fairy. So I'm going to put the fairy on there, and I think call this one done. Let's try to put the fairy on right side up. I know that a lot of these don't really have a right side up and a right side down, but I try to go with, if the text underneath is showing a certain way, I tend to go with that as the right side up. Yeah, that came out kind of nice. That's just a little journaling card. I might do, in fact, here, watch this. I can do this. I've learned this little trick recently and I really like it. I've been using it to make tickets, but there's no reason you can't do it on something larger as well. There we go. There's just a little ticket. Well, let's distress the edges on it. I don't always distress things right away because I don't know what journal I might use it in or what it will look like. But I think I can do this one pretty quick and be pretty self-assured that it will go into a journal that uses distressed stuff. Something vintagey. Although I'd like that little fairy in there. There. So I know the sun has come out, so I now have some stripes. If I put that over here in the sun, I don't know if that shows any better. Okay, put that back over there. I know some people put their thing on top of there and then that all ends up getting changed in color, but I like to be able to see what color it is. So I have this is just a piece of unlined index card, and I've been using it, and then I thought, you know, I bet if I've stuck a little blue around the outside, so I cleaned off one of my blue ones, and I'm kind of thinking that really looks cool, so that may end up being a journal card at some point. You never know. Now these have 2 tickets. I wasn't sure about this at first, but I think it's going to work just fine. So I have a ticket here. One of the things I'm really trying to understand about layering is, you know, you cover up a bunch of stuff when you're layering things. You put something down, but then you go ahead and you cover it up. It's like, what kind of, is that the point? Or is that a waste? But then I'm beginning to see that when you cover it up, you're not covering all of it. You're only covering some of it. Stop it. That is trying to come down where I don't want it to be. You're only covering some of it. So although I did the stamping on here and I've covered up a lot of it, it still shows through. So you still get to see it. Now see, that might make a really nice belly band. Both of these might make a nice belly band. I've got to trim a little bit off of this one. When I cut this one off of the strip that it came on, I didn't quite get it right. I got a lot of stuff for Christmas, and I have been playing with it ever since. If you wanted to see, I also recently did an unboxing video. A friend of mine is cleaning out a couple of closets and found a bunch of stuff for me, and that's now all been subsumed into my collection. So all of that stuff is around. There's another nice belly band. So those will look nice in a different journal at some other point. Who knows? It may end up in the same journal I'm working on. So these, you know what I want on both of these though? And I think on you too. I want a little saying. Okay, where's my, there we go. Some of these are pink and some are white, and I don't want the white ones. Okay, you are not sticking as well as I'd like you to. We might have to restick you. That says charming. Some of these were for a flowery thing, so country garden and rose petal and sweet peas. Those are all more for the flower one. The white ones are really cool. Floral Queen. That probably should have been for that. I haven't put it down yet. Might put that one there. Lace. See, the white one will probably work on that. Dreams do come true. I kind of like that up there. Bonnie. Opulent. I don't have anything that's opulent. I don't really have anything abundant either. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pause while I'm finding these, because you don't want to watch me just go ahead and, you know, looking through these things. So I'm back on this Surprise Sunday. I have gone through my phrases, my words, whatnot, and found things that I like. I'm going to take a moment and just kind of distress this one a little bit because it is a little bit bright. And so I will go ahead and put these on and finish them off. So as I was doing all of this, going through these, I did by myself, but as I was going through and finding things, I was realizing that I still need a focal point for these two cards, and I don't think I'm going to find it today, so I'm going to stop trying to look. But I will go ahead and put this down here. I'm not going to look, I don't want to do too many layers on top of that. So this still needs a focal point, but for now we're going to go and say, you know what, you're done. We never did put the numbers on this particular one, so let's go ahead and get those numbers on there now. I've decided I do want them down here at the bottom, but I'm kind of glad I didn't put them down before because I put that stripe down there. So this one also I think needs a focal point. Not finding it, not worrying about it today. Sometimes, you know, things just aren't meant to be. So you do what you can, and you get as far as you can, and then you just leave it for something else. This one says dreams do come true. This one says create your own beautiful reality. This one says find your center. The one I've already completed says concerning things. This one says look up to the sky, spread your wings, and fly. That'd be nice if we could really fly. That I think would be the only thing I would change. If we could fly, we wouldn't need cars. If we didn't need cars, we wouldn't have this environmental issues. We'd have some other kinds of issues, I'm sure. But how strange that nature does not knock and yet does not intrude. This one goes over the edges a little bit, so I do need to do a little trimming on this one. Not much, just a little bit. We'll just take off that little bit there. I think that looks just fine. And the world is full of kind people. If you cannot find one, be one. A principal who used to always tell everybody, be kind to one another. At the end of every announcement, that was his announcement, be kind to one another. It was a good one, a good comment, and a good reminder. There. Okay, so on this Surprise Sunday, you have, the big surprise was that I swore I have made a bunch of journal cards, tall ones that may end up, these three may end up being belly bands. My son has come out, not my son, the world's sun has come out and made stripes on my piece here, so we'll see if this works. In the meantime, I'd just like to remind you that if you've enjoyed your time with me today, make sure that you subscribe and you click on the bell to get a notification for the next one. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below. Talk to me, say hello, just tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. If you've got any ideas for me or things for my next project, I'd be happy to hear from you. So I hope you'll join me for another video. And in the meantime, play safe. And this is Cindy signing off.